How are you? Hey, Gretchen.
Hi, Keila. Hi, Brian. How are you
I,
guys?
I'm good for the most part. You know,
Mm-hmm.
could be better.
Hey,
Glad it ain't
Sophia.
worse.
Hey, Sophia.
Hey, Sophia, how's it going?
Look, we don't have, we're winging the mod thing, so we're probably not going to be able to like, there's not going to be a lot of mods in there welcoming. We're doing it all from
Mm,
backstage, so hello,
Hi,
y'all.
Arya. Nice to see you, Arya.
yeah.
Yes,
So,
Aria, how are you?
Um, so it's Sunday.
Yes.
yeah, Sunday.
And you know
Yeah.
how beautiful that sun looks out there?
Yeah.
Hey,
It's been
Violet.
it's been cloudy here, which has kept it like it's in the 70s. So I'm not really complaining,
Oh, that's good.
I
considering
think
it's
I
going
got
to be mid 90s by the end of this week. So I'm enjoying it while I got
90s. Come on, y'all. Come on now.
Yeah, you
it.
in
Yeah,
Texas, but
So let me tell you, it's a 107.
yeah.
okay.
Well, that's why I don't live in one of the reasons I don't live in Texas anymore.
Yeah.
oh,
You
well,
get you get humidity though, don't you do it in Arkansas?
oh, yes, the humidity makes it atrocious. We get like it gets 95, but anywhere above 90, and with the humidity, it's just unbearable.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I stay inside and try to sleep through the hot parts of the day up all night, or just depends.
Yeah. I see you.
Oh,
It's good to meet you like this. I know it's not
Yeah, yeah,
technically quite in person. It's as close as we're gonna get for now, but
yeah,
um, I see you on the chats. I feel like I know you somewhat, kind
yeah,
of,
yeah.
Brian, a little bit at least.
Like
Brian. Everybody knows Brian.
like I'm pretty much an open book. Well, and it's to being a writer, an artist. In a way, you got to be,
Yeah.
especially if you want people to appreciate your stuff, or you want to get your work out there. You know, it's best not to have too many skeletons in your closet, which I relatively don't. The worst thing I've done in the past several years was I didn't show up to a court date when I should have for an accident, and now it's costing me altogether. It'll cost me almost $3,000. So
Yeah.
Hey, can't think of a better name. How are you? Yeah, we're greeting everybody right now, and look, we shorthanded today, so if y'all will don't mind in the chat to do us a favor and just I know everybody's gonna have questions, but I'm trying to keep Kathy so she don't have a nervous breakdown backstage doing everything.
Mhm.
mhm.
So I told her she don't have to worry about starring anything. If y'all have any questions at the end, if you don't mind, we'll just ask, do what
Yeah,
we can then. If that's okay with y'all. I hope so, y'all.
And
And we see
um,
all of you.
yeah. And I know I didn't get a chance to be there for the first part two. I mean,
mhm.
part one. Sorry, the first part
Mhm.
of the discussion with Brian here, and so I'm glad to be here tonight.
I'm glad you are here.
Yeah,
And we kind of had discussion before and said, hey, like, you know, let's kind of have a continuation and then
yeah.
other things as they come up, right? As kind of organically, it's oftentimes happens.
Well,
So,
well, well. A lot of it last week was about, basically about CPTSD, right? And when I like I said, when I first heard about it, it was my cousin Stephanie, who lived in San Diego. Uh, she posted a thing on Facebook that had 10 criteria, for, I guess this was
yeah.
10 years ago, a little almost 10 years ago, for childhood complex, whatever the heck you want to call it, PTSD. And I checked off about 6, 7 of them. And it
Well,
was
that's
just,
about all
huh?
you need. Mhm.
I was like, huh, some things started making sense, especially the, the difference between me and my brothers and my sister. Okay. When me and my brothers were growing up, a lot of chaos, crap that happened between me and him, this, that, and the other, a lot of bullying, teasing, all that stuff. Alcohol fueled violence. Um, my sister was growing up. That ended. She, we had our own struggles, but that chaos was
Yeah.
was not there, and she didn't she didn't have the same issues as me and my brothers. Predilection for addiction. Predisposed for that. Both my brothers, like my oldest brother, he died because as a result of his abusing himself over the years. You know, he had like he died of a heart. He had like 7 heart attacks.
Mm.
Yeah, and then my other brother is currently in rehab. Uh, but my sister hardly drinks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how that goes. Arian, in part one, basically I talked about I had a very chaotic childhood, extremely chaotic.
And
Uh,
you.
a lot of uh, um, religious trauma, for lack of a better word. I learned at a very young age, 5, 6 years old, that we as humans were inherently bad, and that we, if if you weren't good, you were going to burn in hell, basically. And then my oldest brother, took advantage of me. I don't like to say assault, you know, but he took advantage of me, molested, however you want to put it.
Mhm.
And then I had no real stability. My mom didn't, she's been married a total of 7 times, and the first 5 marriages were before the age of I was 16. You know, so a lot of instability there as far as that goes. I again saw a lot of alcohol fueled violence, especially when from my dad was a drunk. My sister's father was an alcoholic. He almost killed my mom twice. Um, and but he luckily he was out of the picture. I was about 13. My sister was a little over a year old, and later on, he died last year as a result of colorectal cancer. And a couple months before he died, I got to talk to him, and we'd reconnected. And of course, he didn't remember stuff. My mom doesn't remember stuff because she got into a bad accident that almost killed her in 1991. That that changed a lot of stuff, and that's changed a lot of stuff in my family. Um, so that in a nutshell was a lot of last time, uh, so
And then well, so I'm just going to be transparent so everybody that can go watch it.
yeah,
Um, I had Marilyn. Gretchen
it,
wasn't here at the time, so I had Marilyn come on
it was nice to
because um, I have the same thing as Brian, CPTSD, and
yeah.
um, I wasn't expecting to be hit that hard, but with
Yeah.
that, and I mean, I'm a human,
Mhm.
and we all are human. Even people that work in mental health are human, and
Yeah.
that is, it got me, and so I really didn't want to just break down and lose it right there. So Marilyn was kind enough to
Mhm.
jump on stage, and
Mhm.
I know her and Brian,
Yeah,
and it turned out, I think, as it should have.
yeah.
I
And
mean, things are going to turn out, and I'm grateful for her for that, and I'm grateful for you, Brian, for your patience and your grace that you had
hey,
with me.
if one thing I'm a very impatient person. I can tell you that. It, you know, it's textbook. A lot of the stuff that's wrong with me, wrong. I don't. A lot of stuff, my issues, wrong. It's textbook. You can go into any, and I guess that's a way that I actually deal with it to make, because you don't want to. I don't want to, be trauma comparing. My trauma is more traumatic than your trauma. Trauma is trauma is trauma is trauma is trauma.
That's right.
It depends on it depends on the individual person and how they deal with it. I was predisposed to be an introvert. Okay. Um, mom always told me that I was a very quiet kid, hardly ever cried. So I guess the things that happened, how they affected me, it's taken me years and years and years to overcome. I remember, I think I remember telling Reese that, the time 2 years ago when I got into that accident, and I decided to, put myself in self-imposed exile from the world. I was dealing with 30, I was dealing with basically 50 years of stress, you know,
You know what
and
that does to a body. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and considering when and where I grew up out in the middle of nowhere, a very, very, very small town in the 70s and in the 80s. In the 70s, we had a lot of political, just like now, political instability, economic, a lot of crap going on.
Mhm.
I grew up in a Judeo-Christian, very apocalyptic, millenarian style faith. The Church of Christ. You know, very hellfire and
Yes.
brimstone, and they
Hellfire burn.
they see they see the world through that lens. So I was expecting freaking the world to end in fire at any moment.
Yes.
And so yeah, so I'm a much better I'm much better now than I was even 2 years ago. But I still got more, more to, there's always going to be more to work on. I'll be working on myself until they put me, until my sister spreads my ashes somewhere, you know.
Brian, I think that goes for a lot of us,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of us, go through that. It we're I'm glad that we have people to go to that work in the mental health field
Yeah.
because unfortunately, these things that we are just able to tell now, and I mean, I'm 50 years old. Think about it. I
Yeah.
mean, we're just able to come out with these things now, and we
Yeah.
wonder why we've been messed up our whole lives, or why
Yeah.
people have said we've been messed up or stuff like
Well,
that. And
well, yeah.
it's more and more now. It's coming out more and more, and it's not waiting that long. So I'm glad that we have at least some sort of structure and training and how to deal and how to help others deal with this kind of trauma.
Yeah.
Because
30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, especially out here, they didn't have, school counselors.
yeah,
Our school counselor, what she was doing was to help us find, she was also the home economics teacher. So she did all that stuff, and she helped us with getting in the schools, and that's about it. There was no mental health counseling or anything like that. I didn't start doing anything like that until I was actually in college, you know, and through the psychology department there. That's where I really first started going to therapy. And off and on and off and on over the years, but now it's, especially with the VA, that's who I get my healthcare through. It's a it's a lot better now. It is a lot better, you know.
Can I ask on that note, Brian,
Mm-hmm.
how is it? And I know you shared, you've been, like you said, you're an open book. You've shared
Mm-hmm.
with us. I think you shared, with Reese, with others.
Mm-hmm.
How is it in other words, each time that you share your trauma background, how does it feel for you? Does it change with with each time that you share? Is it different, or is it? I'm
It
just
gets
wondering
easier.
about that process for you emotionally.
It gets easier. It just like with everything, it gets easier.
Okay.
There's certain things that there's certain things I don't want to talk about, but for the most part, like I said, And if I don't want to talk about that stuff, I won't. But it's the shame, the embarrassment, and all that stuff gets a little easier, because it's shameful to think that, for example, my mom, married. Okay, I had 3 foster siblings. 3. The oldest is my sister's dad.
Wow.
How fucking messed up is that?
Yeah.
Okay. I talked about this on My Other's Keeper. I don't know if you Kim's her name. She's through the life.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the lifeboat. Yeah, I talked to her about this. Yeah, what happened was 76. Yeah, I was about 4 when my parents split. 5 years later, my sister's dad comes back here because when my parents split, a couple of the one of the foster kids stayed. One of my foster brothers stayed here, the youngest, but the other 2 went back to West Virginia. The dude came back and asked my mom to marry him. He was 21 at the time, 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't have been easy in a Christian small town.
Okay.
It wasn't,
Sophia,
It
not.
was not.
No.
And I knew something was pardon me, I knew something was messed up about it. But being 8, 9 years old, you don't got no say.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm my oldest brother. He's 6 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 6 years older than me.
I was just showing her what
yeah.
you had read. I'm starring some for afterwards.
Yeah. Being in, but he I remember him saying later on that he objected to it. He was like 14. He was 14 at the time. Of course, mom was not going to listen to him and stuff. So yeah, it was messed up. And because he was in the military, I got uprooted from here and went out, and we moved from here to North Carolina, where he was stationed. And I call those years the dark years, and the best thing that came out of that was my sister. And of course she's one of my best friends now. So, but yeah, as far as all that goes,
can I ask you a question? What made you decide to go into the military?
Get my shit together.
Hey, glad you said it that way.
Yeah, basically, I was floundering around. Because I didn't join till 30. All right. I went to school after I got out of high school, but I wasn't prepared. And then I ended up dropping out, not getting my degree. Then jumped from job to job. No internal stability up here. Searching for companionship, searching for this, that, and the other, falling in love and getting my heart broke and all this other crap, and trying to get out on my own to be a man, and failing miserably. And I was living at home and all that stuff. And one of my best friends, one of my friends gave me a place to stay. And so I moved out, and he actually suggested that I join the military because his brother, who's also another one of my friends, had joined the Navy, and his brother actually graduated high school with. And so I was like, yeah, I might do it. And I did.
Okay.
Yeah. But unfortunately, or fortunately, it just depends on how you look at it. I didn't get to do a 20-year career like I wanted to, but yeah.
So, what made you start writing?
I started writing to get over nicotine withdrawals.
Okay.
I'd always I'd always liked music and and always lived in my head and like stories and books and all that stuff. And I was 16. I was taking typing, and uh, I used to dip smokeless tobacco. I've been addicted to nicotine all my life, like since I
Mhm.
was like 5. You know, um, and I just decided to quit. And I had this typewriter that my mom had got me and to practice, and I just started banging out stuff. And but I did not, as far as being a poet, um, it just happened, you know. It's not something that I I intentionally I'm going to be a poet. No, it's just I started writing poetry, and I like to work, write with rhyme and all that stuff and learn more. And I was pretty productive in my 20s. I have very little of that left. Uh, moves and lost stuff, and then I had a really bad block for like most of my 30s. It was like whenever I'd write the whole thing over, same thing over and over again, and it was just like, ugh.
Right.
And
Right,
and
Sophia. The muse kissed you.
and then
I
Mhm.
like that. I like that. Look.
the muse is very fickle. Sometimes she can be very fickle.
Yes.
Um, and so uh, in I was stationed out in New Mexico in 2013. Yeah, it was like 2012, 2013. I started taking college classes, and I took a creative writing class to try to help me uh, break the block down. And uh, slowly but surely, and then I started writing more, and as a way to deal with some stuff going on in my disastrous marriage. Uh, but I really just didn't really start writing in earnest until after I left her, 2017,
Mhm.
2018. So most of what, like the videos that I put out
Mhm.
and the stuff in my books, is new. I have very few things from
That-
my early days writing. So
Well, then you still have your creativity going on.
yeah,
Because
and
I got your book.
I try to write every day. I try to write every day if I can. I'll have stuff going through my head, and the writing process is it's interesting. It's interesting and frustrating at the same time. I get an idea, and something will it'll just form right there. And then I'll have to go back and do my tweaking and everything, or I'll get an idea and it forms over time. You know,
Mm.
it's there's no rhyme nor reason to it. You know.
Um,
Does it Oh, I'm sorry,
I
Gretchen.
was just well, no, I was just going to ask a question about the writing and maybe overall, but as we're talking about writing, did the COVID like lockdown era, like that time period, or during the time when there was more of a shutdown, how did that affect your writing, if at all? Did it?
COVID that the lockdown didn't change my
Yeah,
life. Didn't change my life at all.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
because
you were introverted and you were kind of to yourself, like at home.
my I was working for delivery. I was delivering food for restaurants, DoorDash. Uh, it was called Bite Squad, Grubhub type.
Mhm.
Um, and and my circle of friends is very very small, and most of them are shut-ins anyways. So when the lockdown happened, I was out and about. It was like I lived in a freaking in a dystopian novel. It was like there for a while. I was out and about, going to restaurants and having the masks on and all that stuff. And But yeah, it really didn't change. It didn't change my. It didn't impact my social life the way it impacted a lot of other people's, because I had
Right.
a very, the worst thing it did, it really damaged, of course, my girl, the relationship and I was in at the time. I, looking back, was not going well. I wasn't in my right mind. My issues and her issues had issues with their issues and all this other shit. And so yeah, the COVID really didn't change, as far as all that goes.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah,
Kathy Ann has a question for you.
sometimes the way my brain works, it's basically writing poetry is journaling for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's whatever's on my mind or what I want to talk about. But what opened the floodgates for me, I actually really have to say, was turning 45.
Really?
Yeah, turning 45, because you're not guaranteed 90 at all. You
Mm-mm.
know,
Mm-mm.
so
Slow down now, Brian. I'm way older than that.
yeah. It was, and I wrote about it in a poem in one of my books, in this one that I put in this one. Um,
Oh.
um, yeah, and actually the title of this, "Memories Carved in So Much Dust," is
Uh-huh.
a is a line from that poem where it's basically me dealing with my own mortality. You know,
Okay.
because yeah, you process it. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, just like I said, it just depends on what's going through my head, and and what doesn't cause me to freeze up. Because sometimes sometimes putting things down on pen, in black and white, makes it more real.
Mm.
You know,
Yes.
and it's like, if uh the most, more recently, I'm a notorious procrastinator, right? And I've been, I've heard that can be a result of, PTSD, or whatever.
Please, Gretchen, please tell me that is a sign, because there's
I
nobody
am
worse than
a
me.
notorious procrastinator. If it wasn't for the last minute with me, nothing would get done.
I'll have to get
Oops.
back to you on that one.
Yeah,
Oops.
Um,
yeah,
Brian,
I'm
you just called both of us out there.
yeah, I'll have to
yeah,
think about that one. I'm just
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um, okay. So, Kathy, and this is why figuring out what way of processing is best for all of us, and the most therapeutic methods. Some are verbal, some do other through writing, or being in nature, or so many other ways. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
yeah, yeah,
me, having a creative outlet, but not writing per se, but like doing something crafty or creative,
yeah.
that to me is therapeutic. It's just like you're creating something. It's like colors coming together. It's just kind of cool. But
Yeah,
yeah.
but me being a notorious procrastinator, I think it's also, it has to deal with my anxiety, and the rejection and
Yes.
failure and all that other crap.
Yes.
Because if you the first person to reject anything is yourself.
Hmm.
And when
We're
you
the
reject,
worst. We're the
yeah,
worst.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially, I call it my internal my internal imposter.
Mhm.
you know i I like, I'll write something, and people will be like, and I'm like, I don't like this, but you guys like it. I'm like, oh, okay. uh um it's like, and that's one of the things that keeps me from doing a lot of, publishing and
Okay,
everything.
so you know a trick here why we don't pre-record much, we just go live, is because of that reason. Do you know how
Yeah,
many hours I would sit here and edit a video if I had to edit it?
yeah. Oh,
I took Aaron's advice. Just go live.
yeah. That's
Are you
that's how.
saying you're a bit of a perfectionist, Keila?
Just a
Oh,
little bit.
oh yeah. Same here. Same here. And it's like when I do my videos, right? I'll decide which one to do. I'll do it, and it'll be like, okay, I do one take
Mm-hmm.
usually. I very rarely pause or anything. I do one take. If I mess up, I think the most I've ever re-recorded a video is like 4 times until I finally got it. Okay, good, do it, and then I do do my lives at the end of the week, and that's actually been helping out a lot. I like doing my poetry readings because being stuck, not having a working vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and living out in the middle of nowhere, it's really hard. Really hard to get around.
Right.
And and you can do you can write and write and write and write or draw or do this or whatever whatever. That's only part of the process, right?
Right.
The other part is getting it out there for others, your feedback, and having my YouTube channel, and this community has been very instrumental in me feeling better up here.
Mm.
you know
That's
uh
great.
yes, because it's just like it seemed like certain things fell into place. I decided to screw the world. I started watching true crime, and all that stuff to make me forget about my own problems. This is stuff that happens. I call it crap that happens to other people. Not to disparage. It's not to don't want that to happen to me. Anyways, and then I ran into the Danny Masterson trial
Yes.
coverage through Andrew Gold and Chris Shelton, Aaron, Mark, Claire, and so forth and so on. And now we're here through all the ups and downs.
Mm.
And we are still here.
Yep.
Yes, we are still here.
Yeah. I'm Aria, I'm so glad to see her. I'm so glad she's on here.
Yeah.
We've been so worried about you. Oh, I love the picture.
I know. That's
You said
sweet.
yesterday, was it yesterday, right, Aria, that you got to hold it for the first time? But what you said, writing music
Right.
or playing music helps her. Yes.
Nice. I wanted to, while we're talking about your poetry, Bryan, and your creative writing, and you showed us one of your books. I don't know how we can disseminate the information, if we can somehow put it in the chat, or maybe we can post it on our community page or somehow, because that would
Here.
be good to kind of have a list somewhere or something where we can see your book titles.
Well,
If you would be okay with that.
yeah, fine. If this one,
She's going to pull
my
the links. Do you have?
Yeah.
She's going to go do the links. Kathy can
Okay.
pull the links.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
great, because I would be interested in looking into it.
Yeah. That's fine, Kathy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
published. There's got lyric got to visit me at the hospital.
Oh, that's sweet.
That is so sweet. But there's some Bryan, there's some messages in here before it gets like we go up too far.
Okay.
Sophia, she said, I like what she has here. She's right.
Oh
Stress
yeah,
is a slow burn that will affect the body, and that is
yeah,
exactly what it does.
yeah. And before before Jeannie Mustard came on the scene, I always wondered why I carry my tension and my stress on my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Part of my disability, I injured my neck and stuff, and a few other things while I was in the Navy. That's where I get part of my disability from. And but all my life I've been, up here. I had these, I had to force myself to sit back and relax.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first little. It's like a collection of like 15 poems that I put together. I did it because I was
She's not through. She's hitting me with them quick now.
yeah, that one right there.
I have that one.
The reason I put out memories first was to get some experience with doing the self publishing, because I had the Scientology collection finished
You were
back
quick
in.
with that.
Well, no, it took me a while. I had it
Yes.
finished in like May, right?
Mm.
And then I did
Mhm.
rewriting and everything. But what held me up was because I had the idea of getting Claire Headley to do a little
Mhm.
to do that afterward for me. That was when all that crap that we know now was going
Yeah.
on. So
Mm.
it took a little while. I didn't get that from her until till the end of August. And then, and then I went on with Liz Gale, and she did the forward for me and everything.
Yes.
But I'm really proud of that. That is
Look,
yeah, that the book. Yeah, uh, I read her. So anyways, like Goldie was instrumental in helping in getting that book out,
mhm.
because she's the one who helped me get Liz. That the little blurt, the thing that Claire wrote for me.
I'm so glad that that got done.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it was an interesting experience writing it, and it was one of those things where, like I say, I say in the introduction to it, when I was watching Aaron, he was doing some stuff with Chat GPT, and that just inspired me to start writing. And I hate writing haikus and limericks.
Oh, that night that he was putting those questions in,
Chat
that was
GPT.
hilarious.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and because it was there for a couple weeks, there for about a
it
week or so,
was so funny.
and then the chat was going, have it write a poem, have it write a haiku, have it write
Yep,
limericks. That's when I got the ideas,
that was
Ah,
good.
okay.
and it was just like, okay, and it was just like I couldn't stop writing them. I would watch something, and then I'd get an idea, and like and I would, and basically all the haikus are presented in the book in the order that I wrote them.
Okay.
It's the limericks are more, spread around. I tried to make it to where, because I did three haikus and limerick, to make to get some symmetry to it and some
Mhm.
consistency, and also with the ideas, because the first three are all about how it strips your humanity and it messes you up and your family, and then it goes on from there and stuff. It kind of all worked out the way it all worked out.
Can I ask what you said you don't like? What I mean, I personally love. I don't write. I don't write creatively, but I love to hear and listen to haikus and limericks. And I think I watched your live more recently on Friday from you. But then the limerick one, the Scientology limerick one. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
That was about a week or so ago, or
yeah.
some days.
That was a couple
Um,
weeks.
yeah, but what don't you like about writing haikus and limericks? I'm curious.
Okay, with limericks can be considered cliche.
Okay.
Also, when people think of limericks, the first thing you think of, there once was an old man from Nantucket. you know,
We know how that one goes.
it's not considered high art. It's
Yeah.
that artsy tartsy thing in me, and then and then uh, I can be a very wordy guy. You know, I have to I don't know, I'll have a sentence or something that's like 10 syllables long, and I have to cut it down to make it all work. I have to cut it down to 7 or whatever. I can be a very wordy guy. So
Mhm.
getting all those ideas into that compact structure, can
I
be
see.
difficult, because it just depends on, you can switch one word or one this, that, or the other, and it just
Very
changes.
limited. You're right. Yeah.
It can be very
Constricted.
limited. It can be very restrictive, but it's also, it's effective in just, in how you use it. You know.
I'm sorry, I was checking on Hamina. She's
How's she doing?
well, now she's okay. They were not letting her leave
Uh,
without paying.
Kathy Ann put here, Limericks were classically known as the, quote, poor man's
Poor man's
poetry, unquote. I
poetry.
believe because it's the form of entertainment that was used
Yep.
at taverns and villages.
Yeah, and
Oh
you know,
wow, Kathy Ann.
yeah,
Look at Miss Kathy Ann with her historical
I
knowledge
know,
of limericks.
right? Yeah, let me get up here.
but yeah, and
Yeah, go ahead.
and when I was in college, and even now, rhyming and doing stuff that it's almost looked down upon.
Yeah.
There is a very elitist strain in art, period, right? But especially in poetry, you know, and and you know, it's very and part of that's just, you know, part of that's me, you know, my own, that inner imposter again. But it is, you know, when if you try to do something with rhyming, you're automatically going to be put down because it's, you know,
Yeah.
it, but it's sometimes it's more difficult to express something in rhyme and get it right than it is to do it in either blank or open or free verse, you know.
Mhm.
It just depends on what you want to do and how you want to do it. Oh, okay.
Indigo twin. This goes kind of with Sophia's what
Yeah.
she said about stress. You know, physical stress affects mental health, and mental health affects physical health. It is all connected. Thank you. Your
Yeah.
brain is part of your body. I'm going to
Yep.
say it in every show we do here. Your
Yeah.
brain is
Mhm.
your body. There is no different. It's all connected. There's
And you know,
no that stigma. I believe that's that. Thank you, Indigo Twin, for that because that stigma of
mhm.
where people have trouble with getting mental health help is they don't want to admit they need it because the stigma. So if we just look at it as just all health, it's brain health, then
Mhm.
maybe
Yeah.
I'm that's my hope.
It's I see it changing slowly but surely because we know vastly more much we know more now than we've ever known about the, you know, the body and the inner workings and all
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff and how it's all interconnected than any time in human history. You know, we're light years ahead of where it was when I was a kid. You know, you
yeah,
know,
and
Yeah.
I guarantee if you know if if
Mhm.
you know there might have been, you know, there might have been something available for me early on if, you know, different time, different place.
yeah, right.
But but that's a good thing that we have that now because like my sister has 4 children, and she's on top of their of their mental health, like her you know, they have some ADHD struggles and other stuff, but she's very very on top of that.
Well, you just take a concept like also, I work a lot with the chronic illness and chronic pain population, autoimmune diseases, stuff like that in my practice. And so I keep my, finger on the pulse of a lot of what goes on in the, what they call, psycho neuro, you know, kind of
Yeah,
research. And they're
Hmm.
talking about, speaking to your point, Keila, and what we're talking about here, inflammation. Like if you just take something like inflammation in your body is inflammation in your brain. And
Hmm.
there's things
right.
that say,
So
right, when you have a flare up, when you have inflammation with the autoimmune disease,
yeah,
okay, yes, you're like more incapacitated and you feel lethargic and you might have pain, et cetera, et cetera. You may not be 100% depressed because it's a reaction of your pain experience, your physical pain. It could be
no,
actually there's a biological process in your brain where it's
in your
more
brain,
inflamed, thus causing mental health symptoms,
and
which
you're
now
exactly right.
with other things they're looking into inflammation in the brain and schizophrenia or other mental health conditions. I mean, it's other words like you can't disconnect it.
Everything
It's
is
not like there's a
connected.
disconnect. Yeah,
That's
of
my
course.
point, and that's what I've probably been screaming to the I mean, people's ears are probably sick of hearing it, but I'm gonna keep saying it until something changes. There should not be a difference between mental and I mean, it's all body health, brain health, gut
Yeah.
health, you know? I mean, I forgot how many brain cells we have in our gut, I mean,
Yeah.
literally. We have
And,
like
and
Yeah, in our
Ignorant.
gut, like, so our gut health is so important for our brain, and nobody even, I mean, it
They,
goes to that extent,
Yes.
but we don't say, "I'm not gonna treat, okay, brain health." Well, no, it's all, we're all
yeah.
a person. We couldn't function without it all.
Yes.
Well, a lot of that goes with just how the scientific revolution came about. You know, and the more we learn, the better off we are. So.
Absolutely, and,
Mhm.
I like Indigo Twin here. This is for you, Brian.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I know. That's one of the reasons I actually approached Kim from My Other's Keeper was actually to get stuff out because it'd been, you know, been, again, it'd been a weight, and it's still a weight, and it's going to be a weight all my life, but, you know,
All we can hope for is just to try to be better tomorrow than we are today, try to be better today than we were yesterday.
And you know what? It's interesting what Brian you said earlier about the
mm-hmm,
idea of like it's a journey and you're going to be on this journey of
Mhm.
self-improvement, self-awareness until the day you die. I think all of us
mm-hmm,
are.
We
mm-hmm.
are.
And it's kind of cliche to say this, but it's true. Healing is not linear. Like just
No,
because
Mm-mm.
someone, goes to therapy for a PTSD trauma issue, maybe it's just one traumatic event and they think, okay, I'm kind of feeling good about it. I feel like I've processed through it. Well, something else, 10 years down the road could trigger
mm-hmm.
it. And all of a sudden, like, well, I thought it was past that. No, we're human. Like, we're affected by things. And, we
You're right,
overall
and
might have achieved, have gotten some progress in a certain area of healing, but it can, and that doesn't take away anything that progress that we've made or healing that we've gained. It just,
it's gotten us where
it's,
we are, but Gretchen, you're
yeah, it's
lagging.
gonna,
Your
oh, my
audio's
audio.
lagging.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
um,
I mean,
yeah,
we heard it. We could hear everything you were saying. It was,
Okay.
see, it's still, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let me
what,
put these up real quick, Brian. Um, Sophia grew up rurally and Catholic. They sure do talk about it and don't consider the children in unusual family situations.
oh yeah,
That's the thing.
yeah, I know with yeah, I know my mom was, my family was the subject of scandalous conversations in families
Right.
and I was probably looked upon with pity. I can think, thinking back, yeah, adults did. So
Yeah. Aria, I'm so sorry that happened to y'all. My childhood was also very chaotic, but everyone's trauma is different. And you are
yeah,
exactly right, Aria.
yeah,
Exactly right. And
yeah,
I have one more story, then I'm gonna go back to the live, but
yeah.
Indigo. That, and this was earlier in the conversation, Brian.
Yeah, I was probably, it was when I was talking. Yeah, the
Yeah.
the foster brother
Yeah.
stepdad deal.
John, hi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And to get to what you were talking about earlier about, I tend to see life as, I call it riding the wave. It's a series of ups and downs, and finding Eastern philosophies actually helped me out. Like, I listen to Alan Watts a lot. I don't know if you know
Mhm.
who he is. He was a Buddhist. He was a English guy. He started out in studying Buddhism, and then he was in the part of the Anglican Church for a while. But he's the one who actually popularized, uh, especially Zen Buddhism, and brought it
Mhm.
into the Western consciousness in the 50s and the
Mhm.
60s. So, um, but I listened to a lot of his stuff. It's introduced me to a lot of the Eastern philosophies, and um, that's helped as far as all that goes. Yeah, yeah, I did. I've done 4 interviews with her so far,
Mhm.
and they've all been pretty good. So yeah, I want to
Nice.
check those out.
Oh, Gretchen, this is, there you go.
All right. Flare-ups are so difficult from Indigo Twin. Flare-ups are so difficult. Chronic pain is so frustrating to experience. Yes, it is. Doctors often accuse you of seeking meds or making up symptoms, at least in my case, since I was 25. Um, you know, I hear you, and I'm sorry that you have that going on and those challenges, and I hope that you're coping okay. For me, yeah, it's hard. I mean, even though we try to be self-aware and stuff, it's hard when we think, and I have the same experience of going in also and feeling like, are they going to think I'm a hypochondriac because I have a list of symptoms? Because I don't know. When you go in, you have a chronic condition. You don't know what's important, what's not. You just want to present everything. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that has my best friend, one of my best friends. He's a disabled veteran. I've known him. We've known each other for 20 years. I mean, 30 years. He was in the Navy. Uh, he got really messed up. Uh, he has so many differing conditions and stuff that he would make he would make some research scientist's career if they would just sit down and because he has so many different things wrong with him that affect and impact off of each other that doctors are scared of him, especially and like I've gone with him and specialist to specialist after specialist, and they just don't know what the hell to do with him. So he's part of he's a VA, and he has to go for some of his stuff. He has to go through Medicare, or the Medicare and other stuff he gets through VA. His life is very, very, very. He's got a tough one, but he's my best friend.
Yeah, and it's I imagine you guys can be a great support for each other in different ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I was his. He's the reason I actually came back to Arkansas. He got diagnosed with prostate cancer. Homebound, no family. My ex-wife had gotten her master's, was working 2 jobs. We had my disability, and we were living with her parents. And I was like, I'm gonna go help my friend, and she didn't like it because it wasn't about her. And I stayed here, didn't go back.
Never look back, huh, Bryan?
Yeah. So I'm one of the few people in this world that can actually say someone getting cancer saved their life. He's cancer free now. It took like that was 2017, and it took like 3 years for them to officially say he's cancer free. So
in a way, sometimes people, when they go through that type of experience of going through and getting through to the other end and surviving cancer, they have a new lease on life. But it sounds like you did too. You got a new lease on life.
I got a new lease on life. I I remember joking with him when that realization clicked, and I was like, John, thank you for getting cancer. He was like, well, you're welcome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hockeytown John. Bryan, I love that you use writing as a tool for healing. I have used writing as a tool for healing myself, and it really helps. Just ask Keilah and the doc about the novel I sent them last night. Yeah, he did. That novel. But
I love that he did that.
Yeah, right. He told us a little bit about his background, his story, which
tomorrow we'll get to hear.
I noticed that he's going to be on here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing that.
And his is it's a very I don't know what to say here, Keilah. It's a very
don't say anything if you don't need to.
That's right. I won't say anything, but I'll just say this. I appreciate John sharing his
I really do.
And you did it just to give us a little bit of background last night. Yeah. I was just kidding, internet. LOL. Okay.
No, they let him, just so y'all know, they let him go, but the National Guard had to protect them, and now they're in Mexico. They're in Mexico. They're trying to get home.
Yeah. We one of the things being in the Navy taught me is it helped me appreciate exactly what we have here in this country.
Absolutely.
I've seen little kids. I've traveled around South America,
Hey,
and
Sophie.
and like my first deployment
Yeah, she's
was
big.
it was a South Packer. I went around South America, you little kids, and it's just heartbreaking, heart wrenching.
Yeah.
What you see in other places, and
Yeah,
we
because the people that usually go over there go to the
yeah
coastal vacation places. They don't ever
yeah
see
and and
the inner
Yeah.
Mexico,
The
yeah and with
poverty and the
and
everything. Yeah.
the,
yeah, and
the
we
crime, the kidnapping. I mean, it's
oh
just the
yeah
cartels. I mean,
yeah we
honestly,
yeah and a lot of people, and they bitch and whine and moan and complain about stuff. They just don't know how good they got it in some respects, you
Mhm.
know you know uh and 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 uh and part of that's being an overdeveloped sense of empathy,
I love you too, Sophie. Mhm.
and all that stuff. But yeah, uh don't
Sophie's
get
in New Zealand, so she knows.
yeah.
I think even Brian, just how lucky we are, but even just things like I have family and relatives in other countries, and not countries even you would think that were underdeveloped, but they have
Hmm.
problems with consistent electricity, for instance.
Hmm. Yeah.
And as a result, if you live on a high floor in a you have to wait till the elevators start working, or you have to climb up, 20 flights of stairs,
Yeah, it's
that kind of thing. Yeah.
the simple fact that I have a jar of cold water here
That's
Yeah.
clean and
that's safe
drinkable. Yep.
is like some people. I heard a lot of it when I was growing up. Appreciate what you got, because other people, because other people would kill for what you got. Even mom would tell us that. Of course, she used some slightly not politically correct terms these days,
Yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, I know how good we got it here. You know,
Let's see.
yeah, I can see many people within America complaining about how oppressed they are, speaking from the safety and security of living in a free country. Yeah, and there's this, not to get political, but a lot of what we're talking
Mhm.
about here is inherently political. You know, mental health, which is it because relates to our culture and all that stuff. But yeah,
Mhm.
um,
Access to healthcare or
access to
mental health
That's
healthcare,
something that
providers.
we got
ac-
the
ac-
VA that you have to go through, Brian, and then like Sophie lives in a socialist
yeah,
country, so
yeah,
she has to go through the socialism,
yeah,
the socialist network. I mean, there's just, and then
yeah,
we have, I
yeah,
mean, we have our own issues with our own insurance, and they don't
mhm,
even let doctors be doctors anymore. So I mean, but at least we do
yeah,
have that ability to get it,
yeah.
you know.
So
And Gretchen, did you have some questions about the VA?
Um, well, just in terms of it, I guess from since we are a mental health kind of channel, like what your
mhm.
experiences are in terms of you've seeked mental health care from the VA, and
Okay,
I think the VA sometimes can get a bad rep
oh yeah,
for different things, but and it's okay if you didn't have a very satisfactory experience. I was just curious about if you sought any kind of mental health care
yeah.
from the VA and what that was like.
I'm actually currently in therapy. I see my therapist once a month, and luckily we can do video,
Mhm.
considering I don't have a working vehicle. Um, but yeah, and there's actually a really high demand for it, because it took me, uh, it took me a couple times to, and to get into it regularly. Part of it was because, I was still working out shit in my head. Uh, but the last time I had to, the last time I started, it was there's a really high demand for it, because when I first started this therapy journey I'm on now, I had to wait a couple. I was like, called him up and go, hey, I want to talk to my therapist, because it's the guy I'd been talking to off and on. And it's like, well, next appointments in 3 months. Okay. So that's why it's there's a high demand for it. There's a high demand, and there's not enough people,
Not enough providers.
not enough providers.
Didn't they
Yeah,
make that where you did, but wasn't it passed where you could see a doctor outside of the VA?
yeah, but you have to have, like with everything, you have to you got to fit the boxes. You got to fit inside this little box, right? And if you don't fit inside the box, you have to prove that you need to be in this other box, right?
Mm.
Okay. It's called community care. It gives us easier access to emergency rooms and all that stuff, and it also depends upon where you live.
Good point.
Okay, I have a clinic that's 20 miles away from me, so I can get most of my stuff there, right?
Yeah.
My specialty stuff, I can travel, right? I'm not my disability doesn't restrict my traveling. The only thing that restricts my traveling right now is my resources, right? So
Right.
specialty stuff, I go to Little Rock first. My friend, on the other hand, because he's homebound, not officially homebound, but we're working on that. Once he gets his official homebound, he'll be able to rely less on the Medicare side of it and more on the VA side of it through community health care.
Mm.
She's with the VA, even though we're in Chicago, it's tough for him. Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
Blake.
tell your friend hello from a fellow shipmate. But yeah, it just depends. It just depends on. It just depends. Like, one of the reasons one of the things I miss about living in San Antonio is the actual Audie Murphy Medical Center there. Great hospital, great VA hospital. They got everything there you need. They get you in quick and everything. I had no real issues with my healthcare there because I lived in a very big town and all that stuff. Hey, Blake.
Hi, Blake.
Yeah. So.
Blake Reed.
But my, the one down in Little Rock doesn't have as big as as good of a reputation, but it's better than having nothing, as far as and that was another reason why a couple of the reasons, like you asked me earlier, why did I go into the military? To get my stuff together.
You're right.
For the benefits, for the healthcare benefits, for the education benefits.
That's right.
That's why I went in.
Yeah.
And military is not for everybody. It took, when in my early 20s, I was like, no, there was no way in hell I ever thought about joining. But it's a way to get to see the world.
Yeah.
And see, I've been to 26 countries. I think it's 26 countries altogether.
Wow.
Yeah. That's neat. That's neat.
Now I'm going to ask you a question. It might be a hard one or maybe easy. What was your favorite country you visited?
The question should be, which one do you want to go back to?
Okay. Or that.
Portugal.
Oh, Portugal. Okay.
Really?
Portugal. I want to go back to Portugal.
Kathy Ann, can you come in? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to have to excuse myself. I'm here alone and there's someone right there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So Portugal, and why Portugal?
Oh, it looks like I really would like to party there.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I was there over, it was 2007, 2008.
Okay.
New Year's Eve, right?
Oh, okay. Now we're understanding a little bit more.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but this was not too long after they decriminalized. They did their reforms on their
marijuana,
their drugs period,
right? Drugs period, yeah.
Yeah, and I was going down the road. Me and my I was kind of drunk off my butt too, but philosophy was banned and their comment was removed. what I forgot what I was. We were going down through this plaza, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was just everybody there partying and everything. And this guy comes up to me, cups his hand, and he has these lime green buds. And of course, I'm in the military, and there's people from my ship are all around, and I'm going, sorry, dude, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't like being
No,
here
but
by
you,
myself.
Plus,
so you
plus
had
it,
some fun. So you'd still go back though, even now, if you could.
oh yeah,
You
yeah.
have good memories, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of bunch of places that I would like to revisit. Um, it is in more of a more of a civilian capacity, like and I never got to go to Northern Europe. I'd always one of the reasons one of the things I wanted to do was actually live in a foreign country for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I never got the chance to because of my job. It wasn't conducive to having billets, shore billets overseas. Um, but um, but yeah, if I could, I
Okay.
would. I would. I've been to, like, I went to the Holy Land, spent like a week there.
Mm.
And don't get me started on the crap that's going on over there. Ugh. Yeah.
So,
Uh,
Keila, do you want? I'm trying to be sensitive to the time here too, like we
yeah, I
always
need.
try to be.
I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get Sophie back in.
Poor Sophie.
It's so dramatic too on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like saying it's
She's been.
banned, and didn't mean to be. She wasn't meant to be banned, but now it's.
I think we had. Kathy, I don't think we can do anything, can we? Until we log off.
You have to. Yeah, you have to do it
Oh,
through.
she said. Hey, you know
Okay.
what? We've already learned all this. What? Oh,
Yeah.
you're in the studio. Okay, yes, she's working on it.
Okay.
So any questions or
Oh, the
whatever?
baby.
Yeah.
Because
So I've been asking them like actually instead of starring so many, I've been asking them as they come in, so
but
that we can just have the. But I guess my question is from here, like okay, so from here, what can we do as a community, as in our community? Is there what would be the best thing we could do to help support you on this journey? I mean, what is something that we could do?
It's a good
well,
question.
my biggest issue
Everybody.
right now is like most people's these days resources. I'm a disabled veteran on limited income. So I do what I can. That's why I participate a lot in the chats, but I don't super chat. I don't I'm a few members and stuff like that. Honestly, buy my books.
Buy your books. Well, we
Buy
will
my
definitely post them on the Facebook
yeah,
page too, and
buy
I will
my
put them
books.
on the community page,
Yeah,
and we will put them. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. We could.
Do you have on your YouTube channel besides? Do you have any way that people could donate money to you or give
I
you money?
have a buy me a coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that, but I don't like it. It's
Hey,
just
you're
that
not asking. We just
I
asked
don't like
you.
I don't
We're asking. We're
We're
asking.
okay,
asking you.
okay, because that's the thing. I know it's the
Hmm.
pride thing about asking people or for this or the other. Where can we
Understand.
find
John
your
called.
work?
It's She has it all in the chat.
Yeah, there was some things early, and
Kathy got it.
and my YouTube channel,
Violet, I
Um,
have that too. I have it right back down there on my bookshelf.
then the
where would
Scientology.
be the best place to buy it? Is it on Amazon or
Amazon.
somewhere else?
That's the only place that's the only
Amazon.
place that
And do you see what John just said? Do you hear
yes, I
that?
know. I know. Here, let me get. I think I can find it. Where is it? Here. This is the one. Yeah, I can get you with the here. That's the one. That's the one.
I imagine
yeah,
if you just put in Amazon Bryan Lucas like as an author, then you would come up. Maybe.
No. If you
What are the titles too?
If you put in all about Scientology, mine's the first one to come up.
Nice. Okay.
I do have one more question for him. Hang on.
Okay. Here, let me.
I always ask the last one. I have to. I
Love
think
it.
about it
She wants
hard
to get
now.
the last word, Bryan. She always likes to get the last word, Keilah.
I
I'm
do
just
like
kidding.
it because I sincerely think about that last question very hard. So
I love it.
I'm trying to drag this over with this. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Copy. I'm sure that Kathy Ann's probably already beat me to it, but this is his book, and that's probably gonna be a huge link.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Well, it was on Amazon. It kind of went a lot.
Well,
and that was like the whole link that went straight to his book, but
I can't.
I
find
did that all kind of wrong.
I
think
can't
it
find.
cut off Keilah. Sorry, I think it cut off Keilah because you have a limited on your characters on chat. Sorry, go ahead, Bryan.
I can't find my Buy Me a Coffee, but I do have Zelle, and it's attached to this. I'm gonna put in the private chat my email address that's attached to.
Okay. And so are we, can we share it?
Yes, you can share that if you want to, because that's
Okay.
that's my Zelle. So it's the email address I have on my YouTube channel. So
Okay.
that's where I do
Great.
most of my stuff. So
Sounds good.
but yeah, I just main thing support buy my books as far as all that goes. But
Yeah.
okay, so
Absolutely. I mean, what that's what I asked. What can we do to support you?
Yep.
You know, to for this community to give you support, because you are so supportive in all the channels, Bryan. You come in,
Yeah, you are.
you're in every channel. You support. You stay in.
well,
You keep the. I know Miss Thing could get it before I could. I love you, Kathy. Mine takes 5 pages, and she finds the.
yeah, if people my Zelle is attached to my email address. So
Okay.
that's that as far as that goes.
Yeah, he said, yeah, Kathy, because
And
that's where his
hopefully soon I'll get a merch store going. With a few things. But as far as me, I'm myself. I do what I do. I'm just me.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, Bryan.
Thank you. Thank you, John. And I don't know how to be anybody else. I greet people, say hi, and stuff, and that's just me. I just can't. That's the best way to explain it. I don't. I'm not. I know we've had a lot of issues in the community with grifting and with people being creepers.
Well, that's not what we are. So
and all this stuff, and I try to, I try to keep a distance, in a way as an observer, and stuff. So, but
well, I'm going to tell you, in this channel, we have a zero tolerance policy for any of that. This is a safe space. This is why we have people on. This is why we want our community on. We want to support our community as best as we can, whether it's resources, sharing information, whatever it may be. But
boosting someone up when they need it, supporting each other.
That's right.
Whatever that means.
Whatever it means.
Well, yeah. Hey, if I would, I probably wouldn't be in as good a place or in up here and relatively in here now if I hadn't found this community, because especially being stuck, not having anywhere to go, not having a worse social life than I had begin with, having this community, having to be able to talk to people, like looking forward to, Marilyn's chat, Marilyn's doing her stuff, or looking forward to this, or looking forward to that. It helped me through some really, really, really dark times, especially the fall of 2022,
Yeah.
especially that,
So I gotta tell you, I know Keila, I don't know if that's your last question or if you another one, but
No,
I
go
have
ahead.
to tell
No,
you,
no, go
I
ahead.
personally have a game with myself, and you don't know about this game, Brian, but I'll
But,
kind of out myself. Is if I'm in a chat and I know you're there and I say something, it's can I can I say hi to Brian before he says hi to me?
No, I can't even do that. I
That's
literally can't.
no one knows about that game but me, and I'm like,
I don't know.
shit,
I
I lost this round. I lost it.
I don't. Well, I just see people that I know, and like Sophia. I'm like, have I talked to her? Have I said her or this that? And sometimes the chat will go so fast and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
But all of a sudden,
Love it. Love
I
it.
see at Gretchen only, and I'm like, darn it.
No,
Brian
love
beat
it.
me to
Please
it
tell
again.
Sophie that it was an accident. Kathy Ann didn't mean to do that. Please, we can't
Yeah.
fix it until the stream ends.
yeah.
Sorry,
And,
Sophie.
and as far as all that, it's having the community, having the sense of a social connection, and I'm a very private person. I'm a private person, but I can say that
You're an open book with your
I'm
private.
an open book. But
You are the best.
as far as in real life, because there's a distinction. There's it's we know each other through this way,
Yeah.
but there's that when you actually make that physical contact, you're in proximity with someone's vibe, with their smell, with how they present themselves.
Sure.
Then it becomes a little different. You can some people might think I'm a really cool guy, but they get to know me. Oh, he's an asshole. I don't like him. I don't know. It all depends. It's like the meetups that people want to do. I cannot wait until they decide to figure out when they're going to do, like through with Reese and Tom, if they're going to do one in Memphis. Memphis is a 2-hour drive for me. Although right now I don't I don't have a vehicle. I'm pretty sure someone would pick me up, but
They would, and that's the thing. I think if someone
Yeah.
knows that you're close by them, I'm sure.
Susan P lives right up the road from me. She actually lives like 30 minutes north of me.
Okay.
Not that far. So there's a way, but I'm looking forward to it. Like I want to go to I want to go out to, I have a friend that I served with that lives in San Diego. And I want to go there and then, go up to Los Angeles and see Big Blue and maybe meet some people and all that stuff. And
I'm in between those two cities, so I can, that'd be good. I'm trying to figure out something I'd like to do. I know they've done some meetups and things like that in
They're
LA or
busy
around
over
here.
there. I'm like, nobody comes down here.
But yeah, I don't know.
I
It
went
would
to
be interesting
Austin,
to
that's about
see
it.
like what it's actually like to go by Big Blue and by the,
I know that's what
Hollywood or
and I want to get back in school. Like I want to, when I get back in school, I'm looking at a degree in history. I want to do that, even though I'm writing. It's a history and writing. Anyways, one of the things I would like to do is actually write about, for example, write about the protests. The Occupy Big Blue.
I'm sorry.
Occupy Big Blue would be a perfect thing to write about. Who wants to vacation on?
All right, John. I'm sorry. Hi, pal.
But writing about the Occupy that they did at Big Blue. would be
Yeah.
a really good, a really good thesis. I've got a lot of the freaking research already done for me with all the damn videos that was put out
Sure.
about that
I know,
time.
right? I mean,
Yeah, it's all there.
that's
And
like
then
Tori writing her story. I'm like, it's written. You've spoken it. Somebody just needs to transcribe it into a book.
yeah, and then going out there will add some more dimension to it and everything. But who knows what the future will bring. Yes, Sophia. I lived in San Antonio, Texas for 3.5 years.
It's down to 100 degrees right now, guys.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
And humid as all get out, or what?
No, actually, it's only
Dry?
51% humidity. It's not bad.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I
that
got
ain't bad.
burned. I got more sun yesterday. The UV's not even good out there. It's only 5. I was in 11 yesterday. That was good. But okay, so a cold snap. Man, y'all think y'all are doggone me, but look,
Hockey
it's
Town
nice
John's coming out with
here.
the funny,
I
witty comments today.
I know,
It's
right?
in the 70s here. I'm not.
It's
I'm not.
Sophia.
So
It's in the
Sophia.
90s here, and we, for some reason, for Southern California, we're pretty humid this year. So
I figured
not
California
compared to
would be
Arkansas or Texas, but what?
humid all the time for some reason.
No,
John Boy got his sassy shoes
he
on
sure
today.
does. He sure does.
Wait, Aria, I don't do sun and humidity. My hair poofs out like a chia pet. Why do you think it's all pulled back?
Mine is
Mine
too.
too.
Yeah.
All right, so Brian, I'm going to be respectful of your time and everyone else, and I'm going to ask you my final question, please, sir.
okay.
You want a drum roll?
Yep, drum roll. Okay, so first, we'll preface it with this.
Okay.
Thank you for coming and trusting us with your story. Okay. Thank you for trusting us for that, because it's hard for a female, but it's worse. And I know that it is for a male to admit this. Unfortunately, that's just, that is what we live in. I'm going to call it like I see it.
Yeah.
And, I wish it wasn't that way, but I can wish all day. So I want to say thank you for doing that. So, and now for all others out there, if you could just look them in the face, what is the one thing you would like to tell someone in that same position?
You're not alone.
That's great. Absolutely. That
That's
was really great.
that's you're not alone. That's the first thing you got to know. Because
Well, you just helped somebody right there.
because I remember feeling alone. I've always been an outsider. When I'm growing up, I was out. Well, we moved in here. We can get back into, for part 2, I can go into a more extensive breakdown of that part of my life, or for part 3, part 2, we're in part 2. But I've always been an outsider, and it's really, really, it's nice to feel included.
Look, paralyzed to paralyzed.
Yeah, I know I'm not alone.
Definitely not.
It's believing it.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. Believing it.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is log on. And y'all know how I do not like the word parasocial, just because it just gives me the icky feeling, because I don't know, I just have ickies about that. Yeah, I am a weirdo. Sophia, there you go. I'm one of those weirdos about that. Gretchen is not, I do not have a parasocial relationship with Gretchen. Okay. I talk to her on the phone.
What kind of relationship do we have, Keilah?
I don't know. We gotta define that later.
Honestly,
But we speak on the phone. It's not something that, but it really.
And what's funny is, like, I haven't known Keilah all that long. I mean, in the chats maybe, but like, it doesn't seem like it's awkward, like you would be just kind of meeting someone new. It's weird.
I figured that when all the when I get to meet whoever, it'll be like that.
It just
the introduction phase, you know, the introductory part, the scariest part, introducing yourself.
Yep.
Because of the rejection, and that's kind of eliminated. You know,
It
like
it
is.
is eliminated on this.
What-
I mean, we're friends. You know, I mean,
yeah, we're more acquaintance. I would say more
acquaintances. Yeah,
acquaintances. You know, because I don't like to bandy the word friend about too much. You know, that's why I was kind of, you know, like yesterday when you, oh, we're friends. I'm like,
Yeah, that's right.
you know, I don't.
Yeah, that's right. I did put you on the spot with that, Brian.
I don't like to bandy that word about
Yeah.
a lot. Like when
I
you know,
understand.
and because I have a definite view of what a friend is. There's friends, and then
and acquaintances.
there's it's a complicated thing. There's just like with most things, but yeah, you know.
Sophia's got it right here, though. You know what? Look,
Hey, I've always been weird,
you're
you know.
amongst your weirdos now.
Yeah, and just, you know, but there's a difference between weird and creeptastic weird.
Thank
You know?
you, John. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
That truly
yeah,
means something.
we've been interacting with each other for well over a year. You know, and you know, like I told Marilyn the other day, she was one of the first people, you know, in this community that I started getting to know. So it's like, you know, anyways.
Yeah.
No, but there's definite. Okay, so I can say that I've got. I'll count maybe on one hand that I'll say like true when I say friend, like a true friend that
Yep.
I've talked to on the phone. I've gotten to know more than just typing on the computer that I've met through this community. You
Yeah.
know, and they're really. I mean, it's there's I feel, and this empath in me knows, you know, like
Mhm.
I'm already approached with caution, you know, and
Oh yeah.
but the empath in me, if I don't feel any bad vibes like that, you know, then I'm gonna, you know, go a little more until I figure out what is what.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get hurt, sometimes it works out.
Mhm.
But there are some friends that I have truly made on here that I think will be my friend for life, you know?
Yeah. And
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 I,
oh, sorry.
huh?
Go ahead, Brian.
Right,
yeah,
go ahead.
I hope that the people that I'm interact with and that I've grown to know, once, if we ever get the chance to, you know, get that, you know, be on other than on a computer screen or on the other side of a phone, then it survives that, because it's taking that
Right.
chance. But like I said, getting the initial foreplay, so to speak, you don't have to go through that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
The yeah, but I appreciate you saying what you said earlier about, and
yeah.
I was trying to just be tongue in cheek or
Yeah.
kitschy with that with the friends thing. But truly I think that realizing that everyone has their own different version or kind of
Mhm.
conception of what a friend, what an acquaintance is, and
Mhm.
some people will say, "Hey, I love you," or and stuff, and some
Mhm.
people won't, and that doesn't mean that they
Yeah.
don't like have a connection with that person. It just means we
Mhm.
have different barometers of
Yeah.
how to when and how to say certain things,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Like the number of people I, you know, friend, I count, it's like 4 or 5, you know, that,
Yeah.
and I've known all those people plus 30 years. So, you know. Anyways, my brain is mush now. So,
Yeah.
No,
It's time to
Brian,
wrap it
thank
up.
you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for everything that you contribute to the
Mhm.
community. You are very important to this community and you are never alone.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you guys for having
Thank
me on
you.
here, and we can do another part, because I've got a lot more stories.
That's what we're here for, honey. That's what we're here
All
for.
right.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Well, thank you, Brian, so much. And thank you, chat. Look, all of you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central, our very own Hockeytown John will be on.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
yes, everybody, please come support him. 2 p.m.
Definitely,
Central Time.
I'll be
And
there.
okay, great. Yep. And we are looking forward to that.
Very much so.
He Yes, and I'm so glad Hamina's okay because I know that
Yes,
he wants her
definitely.
here. And
Mhm.
so, Aria, if you can, I hope you're feeling better.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I know it's rough, and I'm so glad that you're making baby steps, and that's what counts. Y'all all do. Everyone in the chat, you mean something to us. Gretchen, thank you for
Thank you,
agreeing,
Keila.
and
Mm.
and mods and Kathy Ann, we couldn't do it without you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll see
y'all.
you again
We will
soon.
see you later. Bye.
Okie dokie.